the hottest topics of the moment and perspectives that matter from the runway to the political arena. Real Talk with Lavi covers all. Let's get real. Wednesday nights top. Let's get real on Win FM. Hi, this is Lavi. Let's get real Wednesday nights at 8 on Win FM. Get ready for an hour of real talk that will keep you engaged and informed, bringing you insights, the hottest topics of the moment, and perspectives that matter from the runway to the political arena. Real Talk with Lavi covers all. Let's get real Wednesday nights at 8 on Win FM.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely those of the participant or caller and do not reflect the views of WinFM 98.9. WinFM reserves the right to disconnect any caller who infringes the law or offends the right of any person. The station will also refuse to take any call from any person who in WinFM's considered opinion is likely to expose the station to liability for statements made on the air.
Found the sound 98.9. WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
It is 8 o'clock right here in St. Kitts and Nevis. A pleasant good evening to you wherever you are. This is the Real Talk. It's a beautiful Wednesday night, and tonight, I know many of you are out there listening, and tonight we have a very beautiful young lady. She's going to be here to tell you what is happening out there when it comes to violence and crime. It's a public health matter. So tonight, I just want to let you guys know it's a pleasure being back here. This is a Real Talk with Lavi. If you're just in tune, welcome. Many of you who basically have not known of this show, well, it is Real Talk. And Real Talk is basically a show for the grassroots. It's a talk show that involved the entire federation, the diasporas, wherever you are. And we're just here to bring out the positive issues. This is not a show where we up here debating anybody. We just want people to be ready with your information and, you know, being able to bring some positive vibes right here that we can help strengthen our people right here in our beautiful federation. So tonight, I have none. It seemed like my microphone is, I don't know, it's like it's tripping out, so, yeah. Yeah, it seemed like something happening to my microphone. But if you can hear me, just let me know. Tonight I have here in the studios with me a beautiful young woman, and she is from St. Peter's. Her name is Miss Eartha Carey, and Miss Eartha Carey is the recently appointed Force Personnel Officer of the Royal St. Kitts and Nevis Police Force. And she is also serving in the capacity as the coordinator for the Citizen Security Secretariat. So I will repeat, you guys, because we have our local people basically here, you know, doing great things on our federation. Her name is none other than Miss Eartha Carey, and she is the recently appointed Force Personnel Officer of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, and she is also serving in the capacity as the coordinator for the Citizens Security Secretariat. A pleasant good evening to you, Miss Carey.
A pleasant good evening, Miss Lavi, Laverne.
Yes,
Okay. And a pleasant evening to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and persons listening abroad. As she mentioned, my name is Eartha Carey, recently appointed Force Personnel Officer, the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, and I'm also serving as the coordinator for the Citizens Security Secretariat. Now, for those of you who are wondering what is that, it's an avenue that the government has taken to place resources in one space, and that is why we came up with the Secretariat, where we can tackle violence and crime as a public health issue. Now, approaching crime from a public health perspective involves treating crime as a symptom of underlying societal issues and employing strategies similar to those used in public health to prevent and address it. And the main objective is to address crime and violence from a public health perspective through a collaborative, community-driven approach that involves various stakeholders, promoters, persons who can prevent these what's going on right now, and of course to foster resilience. Out of this, we will officially launched the 90-day campaign, which would have been launched on the 6th of September. And what that looked like in that capacity, we would have had a consultation where we met with various stakeholders to, of course, address what we are currently facing. We had political leaders from on both St. Kitts and Nevis. We had community leaders. We had social groups attending. We had ministers of government. We had community persons just coming together in one space to discuss what is going on and to also share what they think that we can do to address this disease that is affecting us right now. You know, when we speak of disease, we have to look at the root cause, we have to look at the symptoms, and we also have to look at the treatment. So therefore, we would have come up with various things that we think can address the issue that we are currently facing. One of the first things that we would have started doing after the first consultation and the second one too, we would have started to go out into the communities again. It's a whole of society approach where everyone is involved. So the first thing we would have started was in the community, going to speak to persons who are well known in the areas, who would have able to give us insight on how to approach persons in the various communities. Again, I'm not from all over, you're not from all over, but of course we want to touch the lives of everyone. We want to touch every avenue, turn every stone, and the best way is to hear it from the voice of the people within the communities. And so far, the feedback has been amazing. Persons are already coming on board, lending their support, sending in their suggestions, even though they couldn't make it to the first and second consultations. They would have been making phone calls to us. We have been providing information. They too have also been providing information to us. You know, persons would have asked, well, would this be on St. Kitts? Of course not. We are one, so we are in the planning stage of going over to Nevis for the consultation over there. Everyone, P.S. Wakely, Daniel, and Premier Magda Brantley, they're all on board, and they are looking for a successful consultation over in Nevis. Any feedback, any suggestions, we welcome it, because again, you're going to hear it quite often throughout the show, is that it's an all hands on deck, whole of society approach. We can't do it alone. Law enforcement can't do it alone. We have to come together as one to find out the best solution so we can get things rolling.
Ms. Carey, I'd like to ask you a question. So you did say that you have been out in the communities, right? How so far the communities has been responding?
Let's say after batch, let's look at the growth of a baby, of course. Not all babies would just stretch and reach out to you, of course, but once it's consistent and it's friendly and it means, well, eventually that baby may warm up to you. And so I would say the approach in some communities has been like that, And of course, that's fine because, again, who are we to come in on your turf? So therefore, of course, you want to know, well, what is the purpose? Why are you here? What can you do for us? And what can you do for us in return? So, but all in all, the outreach in the communities, I must say, it's been amazing. Again, persons who are not able to make it to the 2 consultations that we had, they would have been sending their feedback via WhatsApp or even on Facebook Messenger, making phone calls, sending their regards here and there. So I would say all in all, it has been a good receiving platform for us.
Right, and as you said, it's something new. So therefore, some people, they're not expecting to have something like this.
Okay. Yes, that is true. One of the main reasons why I think I'm here this evening is to talk about the 90-day campaign that we are currently planning. And what does that look like? Looking at activities, looking at ways, means, different types of meeting to assist with the preparation even long after the 90-day period, because this is 90 days we have a specified activities, but even after the 90 days we are planning the hope, the goal, objective, everything is to continue. Again, it has to be replayed over and over, finding new ways, finding strategies, so therefore it has to be after the 90 days for us to get full results. What we have plans, we have community town hall meetings planned again. This will be led by community leaders, community supporters, and the secretariat, representative from the secretariat, of course, will be there to lend our support, because that's what we're there for, support. The government of St. Kitts, the Prime Minister, is very firm on this. We are here as a strong support, all hands on deck, and we are here to make this thing go through. I mean, we want back our communities.
Yes.
There are many mothers, sisters, aunties, even fathers out there crying for their children, and we want to create a safe environment where persons can walk how they want, free as they want, and stuff like that. I am a mother of two, and I definitely would like to see a brighter future, safer communities when it comes to raising my children, because the children are the future. There are so many leaders that we have to groom now, and how can we do it in safe communities?
Correct. And you're from the same community like myself in St. Peter's, and you know that we grew up in a safe environment. So I truly understand what you said, that we as adults now and our aspiring leaders, we basically need to set the pace and come together so we can make sure our generation, are being born into a more friendly and more, I would say, a more informative, so they can have that information to be just a good person.
Right. And that is what one of the reasons why the secretariat is there also for, because we're going to be an avenue where we gather information, whether it's about counseling, whether it's about parenting, whether it's about leadership, whether it's about assisting you, getting you connected with persons who can help you find a job, prepare for the world of work, because these are some of the things that are plaguing us. Persons are not fully professionally developed to take on certain things in the work field. And these are areas that we will provide necessary resources to attack all these things.
That sounds so good, and I just hope that the public out there, if they have not heard about this tonight, if you're on air, if you're listening, wherever you are, please do tell a friend, share the message. It's about time that we are getting some sort of preparation for healing. To basically be in control of this deadly disease, because violence, crime and violence, we are holding it as a public health, not just an awareness, but it's a disease.
And with disease, we have to find a cure. Many things that we just plaster it on, but this cannot just be a plaster, a slap-on plaster. We have to look at the grassroots and where everything stems from. And, surprisingly, persons would be surprised as to where some of these things started. It's not just actual, crime or actual violence, so to speak, the guns and all of that. No, it starts from sometimes in the home, sometimes just in a corner, so to speak, And we are looking at simplest form. We are not leaving anything that we think that is a possibility where these things can stem from. We're going to touch on it, So that's why I said earlier, we're going to be providing persons who can lead you, persons who can help you find the necessary resources, persons to teach you, guide you, help you develop professionally, personally, because these are some of the areas that we're also lacking. So the Secretariat is there to mend and bridge any gaps that will be one of the key to starting or ignite any fire when it comes to crime and violence.
Right. So far, the Secretariat is there already, right? Are you already functional in terms of having people coming to get some assistance?
It's not fully set up, but it's functionable because we already have the social media pages, we already have the emails, we already have the phone number. So I would say it is halfway set up. so you can get information as we speak.
While you're doing it, could you let the people out there know the page?
Sure. It's Citizen Security St. Kitts and Nevis.
Could
That's
you
for
type
Facebook.
it here while you're doing it so they can know?
Sure.
Yeah. So she's going to put it
And-
on the link if you're on social media right now, and she's going to actually let you know that you can also go online.
And if you have any questions, you want to send any feedback to us, you can always send us via email, which is citizensecurity@gov.kn. That's citizensecurity@gov.kn, or you can call 664-6002.
You can put it in the link right there if you don't mind.
Sure.
Well, so far, Miss Carey, listen, you're not only beautiful, but you have a lot here to offer. And I'm listening to you that you really come here to work, which is very important, because sometimes we do the talk, we have all the nice layout and everything, but I don't think that sometimes we get people that really want to talk the walk, and I can hear it. As you say, you have sons, and you want to make sure that your sons is being raised in an environment that is non-toxic, and basically have a choice not to just basically just hearing all the negative in our beautiful small federation.
Yes, absolutely.
Anything else you want to add? Because we have a whole hour here and there's a few people online. I just want to recognize Mr. James Handley. Mr. James Handley, we're coming at you, right? Because we need you for the community. We understand that you have all the sources when it comes to knowing who is leaders and the appropriate people that can be on board with this this good deed that we're bringing here from the office of the...
Yes, I've already touched base with James Hanley, Barman, affectionately known as Barman. He has always given great advice. So he's definitely one on the books that we will be reaching out to when we get to his area. He also would have lent his support in the smallest but still biggest way, because he would have recommended persons to attend the consultation. So, of course, again, all hands on deck. No one is too small. It's about getting results.
Right.
We have, like I mentioned at the consultation, we have a situation at hand. We have a task to undertake. We need actions, because what? We need results. And what type of results we need? Positive results, because we need our communities back. And how can we get these communities back? We have to do it together. All
Right.
hands on deck. It's a holistic approach when it comes to solving crime and violence.
Also, I want to take the opportunity to persons out there in the diaspora, because they too can be a part of it, even though they're not here. Even just by sharing, information, or persons that maybe want to step from a distance and give back to the community, because at the end of the day, St. Kitts and Nevis is where we're going to always come back to. And it is also good to know that you can come home to a safe environment. Sometimes we overseas, and when we hear what is happening, it sounds very, very frightening. But sometimes when you come on the grounds, there's also other positive things that is happening here.
Absolutely. And that is why, again, we have to do everything in our power to ensure that we get our streets back, get our children back, get our communities back to a safe area where they can dwell and be happy, live freely, and grow. My grandmother used to always say, all the children want is a good plate of food and a good wash skin, but they want it in a safe community.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And while we're here, because this is what the show is about, if you're listening right now, it is 18 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock, right down here in St. Kitts and Nevis, Eastern Time. My name is Laverne Davis, and there's a few persons meeting me, especially those from the St. Peter's area, and they will say, "Girl, man, on the radio, good program." So I just want to let persons out there know that, yes, this is Lil Mama from Monkey Hill, is on the air. So if you didn't know, now that you know, because there are persons just out there, Miss Carey, that really want to hear relatable programs that they can relate to and feel comfortable knowing that St. Kitts is not just about bringing the negative and to the airways, but we also have a lot of other things we want to talk about. I see even there's some Rastafarians meeting me on 4th Street. I went to buy food by Beverly, and a Rasta man come up and he was like, "Lavi, take me because I want to fit in, Rasta man got to bring his vibes and stuff like that. And I know it's all positive. So this is how we're going to come together and actually be a part of, not, as she said, not just the 90-day challenge, but to go forward with our beautiful program that we have here. And this is something that came from the heart of the Prime Minister, which is the Honorable Dr. Terence Jew, the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis.
And just to add a little bit to what you just mentioned, because you mentioned the Rastafarians, they also have come on board. We also have them on board. They have shared their feedback. They have gave their input, and they have also given their 2 cents as to wanting to be a part. So they would have given me already some of the activities that they want to partake in.
Nice.
So everybody on board, Christian Council, the ecclesiastics, all of those, they're on board. We have the Ministry of Sport, Ministry of Education. Persons are coming from all over to be a part of this great initiative. And again, it's not just for the 90 days, it's beyond the 90 days, because we want results and nothing's going to happen overnight. We try to look at anything that can penetrate to what we have going on to ensure that we inject the right medicine to ensure that we get a good healing for our nation.
I think this is very, very good too, because as you mentioned, not just a particular person, but even when I look at the way how the approach that you are taking it, we are taking it, I recognize that even persons in the sports, there's a lot of groups, basketballers, footballers, everybody we all just need that encouragement and to know that there's a other way besides just being angry, And I would say that discipline is very important. Many people would say that everything stems from the home, and we all will acknowledge that. But we also have to recognize that not every home children have that privilege. And this is where the community will come in, because we have to bring back our communities, our village that help raise children.
Raise a child, yes, it takes a village, Yes. So all in all, the goal is to find solution to curb what is going on. We see the rise, we see the fall, but the goal is to let the fall be a fall and not get back up when it comes to crime and violence. We just want it to go away. But it's not going to go away overnight. We're going to still have here and there, but we want to keep it at a level where it's controllable. We want to ensure that we always have resources, persons lined up to be the next social agent that we're looking for in the most positive way. In looking at the social groups, they have so many things that they can contribute. And it takes me back to one of the consultations. Sometimes it's the simplest thing as a conversation can heal. Sometimes it's the simplest thing as just even sitting and listening to someone that can heal. And it's amazing when you just listen or you engage in a conversation, you hear the cries that persons are carrying, but you wouldn't even realize because they carry it so well, right? So simple things like that, that's what we are trying to train counselors, we're trying to train professionals so they can deal with things like these, because we want to ensure that we tap into the smallest thing that would contribute to crime and violence. And a lot of it has to do with listening, communicating. A lot of it has to do with helping person find the resources, touch one, reach one, as we would say, and we pass it along. And we want to engage the children, because believe it or not, these children are so smart and they can be used in so many positive ways to also get this message across. And when we look about wanting to go into the schools, we're looking about educational activities when it comes to crime and violence that can easily be taken home on a piece of paper to the parents. Information. We want information to not just stay in the school. We want it to be on flyers, brochures that can be taken into the homes, put on the fridge so the parents can see these things, It's just like when I was working at Water Services, I remember one of the managers made an example where he said his children teaches him so many things when it comes to with water. Because, he would just be there brushing the teeth and the child would be like, Daddy, save water, turn off the pipe. So it's the same message we want to send back into the homes, whether we're going to put it on a flyer, a placard, an activity that took place in school. And when we talk about the family-oriented activities, what we are looking about is going out into the communities again. We're calling on the social groups, we're calling on all the sports groups, come up with some ideas that we can bring families back together in one place to share all the positivity that was once there. We want to just bring it back. The consultations will be ongoing, and what the consultations look like is persons, stakeholders coming with their ideas, chipping in, sharing ideas, and that we can take back into the communities and just start to implement and execute what we have put together at these consultations. We would have already partnered with the Independence Committee where they had the youth rally, and that was very good. It was a huge turnout, and we would have sent a message across the Federation airwaves all over the world, because it's on social media, and social media travels all over, that we are willing to work together, involving everyone to ensure that we take crime and violence down to a minimum.
Okay, once again, you're live on the Real Talk with Lavi. It is now 8:25. I have here in the studios with me, our guest is Miss Eartha Carey, and she's the FPO of the Royal St. Christopher Police Force. And she's right here to talk to you about crime and violence as a public health matter.
I think this is an opportunity for me to also talk about competition that we currently have going, which is for the creation of a logo and slogan surrounding the 90-day campaign. It's already on social media, and what does that look like? You're going to use your creative side to create a logo that speaks on what we are, the objective of the 90-day campaign, and it's also going to be used as the official logo for the Secretariat. The slogan, come up with something catchy, peppy, whatever it is, that would still align with the goal of the 90-day campaign. And if you're wondering what my hard work will bring, of course, there's a $500 for the logo creation and also $500 for the winner of this slogan. Where can you submit these submissions? You send it to citizensecurity@gov.kn, or you can put it on the Facebook page that we mentioned earlier, Citizen Security St. Kitts and Nevis. So let's bring out those creative sides. All are welcome to enter. You have up to 3 entries. So you can send in 3 entries. We're looking forward. So far with that, I would say that we have persons sending in their submissions, and they're very quite interesting, catchy. That's what we're looking for. Fun, that's what we're looking for. Togetherness, that's what we're looking for. And of course, we encourage persons who have not submitted anything as yet, man, try your thing. You never know.
I like when you say try your thing.
Yeah, try your thing. You never know.
Right. The contest rules, right? I'm looking at the logo, and it's saying that the slogan and the logo contest are open to citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis. Each applicant must submit up to 3 entries. Wow.
Yes.
So they have, and then entries must contain a brief explanation of the meaning and inspiration of the slogan or logo, up to 100 words limited. And the slogan and logos must be your original work and must not have been previously published or used. It also says each entry should contain your full name, age, telephone number, and email address. How many judges do you have? Who's going to judge them? Or how many?
It's not going to be me.
It's going to be more than one person?
It's going to be more than one, yes. We're going to look at creative persons who are quite versed in these areas. I'm just a collector. I just pass on the exam to the relevant persons who is going to be judging the competition.
I'm urging the general public to get your children involved. Could you imagine, especially when you're a kid and you get $500? That's like a big deal.
And then what if the same individual win both?
That's
$1,000.
That's $1,000, and also just hearing your name. And if I'm not mistaken, something you get to go to certain functions from the government when they're having all these VIP stuff. So it is something very important when you participate in your federation.
And it brings out the creative side of person.
Yes.
Because one thing I can tell you is that St. Kitts is filled with talent. We are a talented federation. From the smallest child right up to the eldest person, we have talent in galore here. And the minds that we have is so stretched across many horizons that when it comes to putting things together, we're on point. So I know we're going to get some good submissions. I've already seen some of the submissions. The logos are quite creative, so just send them in and see if you're lucky.
I don't know if you guys did it already, but I think something like this should have had the schools into it.
Yes, everybody is involved. We would have gone to the schools too.
So
for
the
them
schools
to participate.
are involved with this, right?
Everybody's involved. I've seen quite. I think I see about 3 persons and they're primary school.
Yes.
aged. Yes.
Yeah, because I remember, for instance, when I was in 5th grade in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, we had to do a drawing because the late Robert Bratcher was visiting the late Cyril King. And I was so excited. Everybody was so excited. And luckily, my drawings was able to go to the government house. I think a couple of months after he did passed away. But at the end of the day, we was excited. And this is what you want to bring back, as you said, to make the children feel safe and just want to enjoy their youth. Because children are supposed to have fun. And many people would say, anyone know of this will say, youth. Matter of fact, a lady told me this. Youth is wasted amongst the young. So we don't want the young to be, the youth to be wasted. And I feel like this is a good opportunity, like I said. Parents, I know we are distracted with so many things on social media. But there's if you're a parent, you need to recognize that your responsibility is to make sure that your child is being a child. Your child is not being wasted in terms of certain activities that is so important for his growth, for him to be a part of it. So I'm urging the general public, if you're hearing this, get your children involved. As Ms. Carey said, that it's also in the schools. So the schools here in St. Kitts and Nevis, right?
Across the board.
It's across the board.
It would also be mentioned over on Nevis during the consultation, because I think we are planning on extending the deadline until next week. Yes, next week, Friday. So it's across the board. Persons can enter from across the board.
Very good. So apart from being here tonight, you have been to other media, like to get the information out to the public?
Yes, I've been on Freedom with Ebony, and we had an amazing time. We also had with me in the studio Hans Richards, who is also playing a vital role throughout this 90-day campaign, and he plans to be on board even after the 90-day campaign. He's one that we will call the researcher, the one with the numbers. He's going to be looking at the numbers, XYZ. And he would have mentioned on Freedom FM, it's going to take time. So we're asking for patience. If we want the best results, we have to be patient. Sometimes we have to look at the right strategies. We have to go to the drawing board. If this doesn't work, it doesn't mean that we're going to end. Of course, we're going to go back to the drawing board, because at the end of the day, we want positive results. And for our positive results when it comes to this campaign and initiative that we have going on is to get back safer communities.
Nice. And also, I made to understand that some of the festivals that are coming up, that the platform would basically be surrounded with crime, violence and crime?
I'm not sure what all of them theme is, but we plan to, the Secretariat, we plan to engage in some of the activities. I know for St. Peter's Festival coming up in October, we plan to attend their church services. We would have missed one of the sessions I would have liked to be on for the Newtown Festival. However, we had a representative who were there when they were doing the community cleanup. For the Capistia, we want to also be involved in that in whatever little way. So we plan to touch on the festival communities, because again, they are community events, and we want to show persons that we are not just talking, we are also doing the walking by collaborating and assisting in any areas that we can.
All right, so this is Real Talk. So now I'm going to ask you a real question, because I know many persons out there would want to hear this. Although this is something that the government is taking initiative of to make sure everybody is on board to recognize that crime and violence is definitely a disease. How can we convince our people in the Federation that although it's coming from the government, it is non-political? People, right? But I guess
Either way,
the
person
public
gonna
know.
still think it's politically driven, but it's not politically driven because it's a whole of society approach. It's a whole of society approach, and it's not political. It's the Prime Minister would have mentioned in his slang tone. It's all a we. It's a all a we thing, so it's not a political thing. It's a all a we, meaning everybody from each communities, each social groups, each Christian arena, whatever it is. So it's not politically driven. It's a whole of society responsibility. So therefore, it cannot be driven by just the political persons. It has to be inclusive of persons in the communities, whatever, if it's a child, adult, whomever it is, you know.
And our people should recognize that you have to look at it as an individual for everybody, because at the end of the day, anything that happened bad in our country is going to affect everybody. You know, and we really need to get on board. And like I said, I am on board because I am offering my service. I'm actually offering my service in terms of being a counselor, a mentor, in any way that anyone can offer their service. Of course, when you're going to be doing things like this, people are going to need training.
Of course.
And you're going to basically have to dedicate yourself, you know, and make sure that you show up for these things, because sometimes, you know, many people always just want to hear the name. I guess it looks good to be a part of a group, but at the end of the day, we're supposed to be able to be making a difference in our communities. Anything else you want to add?
I just want to reiterate what the objective is for this. It's to address crime and violence from a public health perspective through a collaborative, community-driven approach that involves various stakeholders and persons who will come on board with information to guide us, lead us in when we want to find preventative measures. Because at the end of the day, we want to foster resilience. So I just want to end with that. And it's a whole of society approach, not just one person, not just the law enforcement. It's a whole of society approach. What does that look like? All political leaders, persons, educators, other social agents, child, everybody. It's everyone hands on deck with this. A holistic approach is the way that we are going.
And I would like to add, because I have to be the middle person, I believe that this is a great time that when we're going to be bringing such an initiative right here to our federation to see how we can get everybody on board to just be a part of making St. Kitts and Nevis become more of a friendlier community. I believe that persons that are going to be in these as facilitators or leadership should start showing some integrity and also basically understand that they are role models. And it's time that we as a people, we need to change our approach. We need to start looking at ourselves, because if we're angry, it doesn't make any sense to go and let the whole world know that you're angry. And when people are angry, they will do angry things. And what has been coming here in our environment is basically people feel that they can just go, when it comes to freedom of speech, and just go and say anything that they like to harm other persons by words, or maybe they don't like someone else. So what they do now is to basically make up things on these people. They conspire upon them. They use social media to hide behind fake profiles, and some of them are bold enough to bring their faces. They create videos, and we are getting to be such of a place where we are using these things as entertainment, but it's stuff that can harm our children. So by getting our federation to recognize wherever you are, whether you're living in St. Kitts or you're living outside of St. Kitts and Nevis, it is time that we can jump on positive things that are happening here in our federation. Mm-hmm. And as I listen to Miss Carey, I'm very proud of her because I see this woman now as a young girl, very determined young woman, and I'm not really surprised to see who she is today because of the way when you see her and just how she walked, this little red girl with some little cat eye. And I'm sure she too would have had some bullying because here is it, this little girl with some different little eyes among other persons that don't look like her. So we are all damaged in some form, and it is time that we really recognize it and try to really do better, try to get some healing. It is easier said than done, but I could speak because it appears that even when you try to be independent and you try to develop yourself and try to just be independent and wanting to be a better person and just, trying to, you know where I'm coming from. And I know people are listening to me out there right now. I think that we need to be happy for people because by telling people that they're broke, telling them they're ugly, making up bad things on people, you might think that you're convincing everybody, but there's a lot of people that have self-esteem, self-love, self-confidence. They're basically in the organic. And telling a person this thing doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to go away, because when you look in the mirror and you're looking in the mirror and you're seeing somebody else, something is wrong. Miss Carey, and this is where we really need to get this out and continue to know that the 90 days challenge, a number of persons out there, some people know about it, some don't, because you will hear people say they don't listen to radio, they don't do this, they don't do that. But some of these people that say that they don't do these things, you will be surprised to see the other things that they're doing that is not being healthy for themselves and even for others. So I just want to let you know that I truly appreciate you coming here. And we as a people have to continue pushing the message, because St. Kitts and Nevis is paradise. I don't care what nobody say about St. Kitts and Nevis. When I go abroad, when I go to live in the Virgin Islands and they hear my accent, they will say Sugar City, Misson, and the way how they say it, you will think like they lift us up more than how we even lift ourselves up. So if you are a Kittitian listening right now and you don't know how valuable you are as a Kittitian, try go somewhere, and when they tell you where you from, sometimes it's Misson from Sugar City, then they start to call mention and them name, they start to call other person the sugar band, they start to call Elimat other persons who has aspire them. And it's a shame that we cannot recognize our people, and all we can do basically now, we are becoming to be a society of complaints. We don't like something about somebody, we don't have the guts to tell them, we don't agree with their opinions, so we basically want to crucify them, try to find dirt upon somebody. If somebody gets a promotion and they figure, well, who that person is, but we're supposed to be thankful, because if it's not our local, it will be someone else. I see somebody saying here on the live tonight, crime is a national issue. We need a massive national outcry to take back our communities, and it has to be non-partisan. We have to put aside the party affiliation in order for us to advance. We should not let the fallen soldiers lives go in vain. And thank you so much for that contribution. But as you can see, if you're just in tune and you have not heard what we are saying here tonight, right now here in St. Kitts and Nevis, the office of the Prime Minister, and I have to say the office of the Prime Minister, but at the end of the day, he is the Prime Minister, and it have to come from somewhere. So I just want to let us know that if we don't respect our leaders, we're not going to go anywhere, right? And sometimes if we don't like certain things, this is where we, the people, comes in to basically be a part of our of our society. So from the Office of the Prime Minister, he has put together, Ms. Carey?
The Citizen Security Secretariat, where resources will be available, where we find solutions to what we have going on. This is an avenue that you can always reach out to get assistance. We have other professionals on board who will be willing to assist. We have the Elevate program also that is also in coordination with us. We have someone that's going in the community, Miss Alison Collins. She's very good with the communities, the outreach, and she aligns greatly with what the objective of the community activities is about. So,
Miss Allison or Alicia?
Sorry, Alicia Collins.
Okay.
Sorry. And we have quite a vast area of things where we can tap into. We have persons that we can reach out to, and it doesn't even matter how many we have right now, the more the better. So we are asking persons to come on board. If you have not joined us in any activities, you have not attended any consultations as yet, we have one more coming up for St. Kitts, but currently we are planning the one for Nevis, which is on the 4th of October. I think that's next week, Friday. Yes, so it's everybody on board, both St. Kitts and Nevis. No one is left behind, you know.
And you know, this is the thing, what is happening here, when we bring the positive, a lot of people, they seem to ignore it. And then they say that the government is not doing things, or other persons in the community not doing. But sometimes it's people not going to these things, and they would not really know what is happening.
But you know what, Lavi, you know what I've experienced throughout this thing too. They may display a behavior publicly that they don't want to be a part. But what I can tell you, some of them really wants to be a part, and I can tell you that I had a few who were skeptical, negative, that have changed their mind and their heart, and they have sent in the contribution, you know, anonymously, and we thank them for that, you know. So,
can I also ask, how have it been apart from the government? How about the opposition? Have you guys reached out to them, like in terms of? And forgive me when I say you guys, it's just,
that's fine.
you know.
That's fine. But like I mentioned early, everyone was tapped into. And if we have missed anyone, it was not by a willful act. And we're still asking you to reach out to us, you know. The plan is not to leave anyone out. The plan is to make everyone inclusive. If we're talking about inclusivity, we have to include everybody.
Absolutely.
We have to reach out to other persons, other political parties, of course, because my way might be a good way, but your way might be an even greater way. And I may take a longer time to develop a strategy or a cure for whatever we have going on, but somebody else's approach might be easier and take a shorter time. But at the end of the day, we come up with the same solution, but just that yours is shorter than my time span. So we have to make everybody inclusive. We would have reached out to everyone. And again, if we have missed anyone, it was not by intent. So please reach out to us. You can send me an email at citizensecurity@gov.kn, or you can send me a text or WhatsApp or phone call, 664-6002.
Wow. Well, Miss Carey, I must say, someone is saying, great show, interesting guest. Thanks for this initiative by the Prime Minister's office. So this is someone that is basically happy to know that you're here sharing what is happening. I am seeing Leona Swanston here tonight on the live. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to say this just before I leave from here. As I said, it is very good that when we see our people of our government are coming together to put together good things, and I cannot tell people what to do, but we should also take accountability, especially persons that are not for the government. If you're opposition, anybody that have any influence with people should want to basically use whatever. It doesn't have to be your idea. And I see this is what happening that is actually dividing us as a people. Everybody wants to know that they're the one that in the lead, that is doing XYZ, or they come up with this idea. But when it comes to crime and violence, basically, it's gonna affect everybody. And listening to you tonight, you're basically saying that this whole initiative it's gonna create persons in the community. So now that you're gonna know who are leaders in the community, in the communities, it doesn't mean that particular person is the only leader, because leaders are always being born. You basically be in that front to help somebody else. And if we can have our villages, our young children growing up seeing persons as leaders, like when I was a child, and even in my early 20s, I remember, and I'm going to call some names tonight, I remember there are persons I could look up to in my teens and say, well, I want to be like that person. There was Dr. Claxton's wife. There was also Dr. Otley's wife, Miss Otley, Vernon Vera wife, the late Miss Vera, and there's Miss Boone, Miss Hull, Miss I forgot her name, but anyway, there was a number of persons, women that had businesses, even Singer and his wife. They also had not just the men that was in the lead. You had men, husband and wives, and they had their wives that was basically a part of the business, right? So when I see all of that, I basically would say that I was able to see that from my own grassroots people and people that look like me, my skin color, right? And it helps me a lot. And I feel that this is what's missing among, and not that other persons are not doing it. We also had Miss Pistano, right? So there was a number of persons that was out there that was basically being leaders, and even in their business, the way how they take their business, that was able to aspire other persons. And if we don't try to have that kind of setting for our youths, we're going to be in some serious problems. So
yeah, and outside of the professional persons, there were also regular persons within the communities. And I would boast of my grandmother. You know, they call her Madosha. I would boast of her and her contribution to my bringing up, you know, because she always taught me to help. She always taught me to be a leader, not a follower. And if you're going to be a follower, make sure you're a follower that persons can be influenced by your positive actions. You know, so I believe that instilling in children that the right way is to always, first you have to find your identity and understand who you are as a person. Confidence is very, very important when it comes to upbringing and instilling in persons. And I always tell women, you know, the most expensive piece of jewelry a woman can wear is confidence. Right? You rock that confidence like a piece of jewelry.
Yes.
And you know, your persons look up to you. Believe it or not, you may feel like persons are not looking, but persons are looking, including children. They pay attention. So when we're going to be displaying certain behaviors, we must remember that there are always others that looking up to us. You know, so we have to try. No one is perfect, but we have to try to always display such behavior that the children, the youths, the future leaders can look up to and say, I would aspire to be this. They don't have to be like me, you know, but at least they see some sort of quality from community leaders, you know, whether they, and to add to that, it has many children that look up to the actual parents as role models, right? So it is very important.
they should.
You know, it's very important that we display behaviors that is satisfying and pleasing, that our children will want to follow us.
Absolutely.
When it comes to making the right decision.
Right. And, you know, coming from, I would say St. Peter's, but it's St. Kitts. Everything that I'm saying here, we as a people is our culture, so we know of it, right? And as a child growing up, certain places in St. Kitts, I'm not saying that it's not all over St. Kitts, but I know for sure Sandy Point used to always stand out in my head, because when you have strong leaders and people that have confidence, they're going to stand out in wherever they are. When you think of St. Peter's, I mean,
The great state.
The great state, you know, for whatever reason up until now, you know, we call it the Bronx, the great state, and now we have a prime minister from up there, you know. But I could tell you this much, that I used to feel proud when I realized where I came from. When there's a Monkey Hill, it was no longer, I never used to feel like a shame, you know. So we used to say, yes, we are proud Monkey Hillians, right? And that's the community that many of us has raised from. When you think of Kayan, Sadlers, there was so much other places. Newtown, when I think of Newtown, when it comes to the football, Tinny, there's Kayamba, there's Judith Gumbs, there's so many people that you can just think of for certain communities. And you go up to Newtown, I better just call Newtown, but McKnight area, the village, you know, listen, when you think of those places, it was not like how we are looking at these places today. Okay? Those places had proud people, and they still have proud people. Prickapere Alley, for instance, right? You have pastors that come from down there, and all of a sudden now, like I heard some people saying, don't call Prickapere Alley because some of the crime that are happening there are not people from Prickapere Alley. So it just goes to show nobody want to hear that where they're from, bad things is happening. They want to hear good things. And I know, Nevis, I don't know some of the places, but I know I will hear about Craddock Road, you know. And I am just saying that if we can instill what we got as children, you know, there are a lot of persons that are 40 and up, right? 40, 50, 60. Come on, man, we're not in school anymore. And, you know, a lot of us would have probably do things when we was in school, and sometimes ain't even nothing bad, but that ignorant and maybe a little childish stuff, things that might happen, and we just want to basically carry it on for this grudge or whatever somebody do you. And this is what the disease does to people. You see, when your mind basically carrying things from way back, sometimes you ask somebody, and they might be even 50, 60 years old, I don't like that person. And when you ask them, oh, when we was in school at 10 years old, they do me this. And that person is decades after carrying simple stuff that we can move on. And this is what weighing us down as a people. So I am so happy that we are finally going to be, not going to because it's already happening, going to be having an outlet where we're bringing back our communities. And Miss Alicia Collins from Sadlers, that woman is a powerful woman.
She is.
Right? And she's supposed to be coming on the show, so I'll be able to have her herself. You know, she will be here. Basically, like, you know, just listening to her, and I'm sure you can listen to Miss Carey. And Miss Carey is a young woman, and a young woman with children, a career professional woman, and you can hear the way how she speaks. And this is what we want. Nothing wrong, because, you know, St. Kitts and Nevis is a place where we go and we party, we have our fun. But we also need to know that St. Kitts and Nevis people have integrity. We are carrying our morals on our shoulder, you know, and we basically want to go out there and be better people, being able to be respectful. And when it comes to social media, we cannot tell people what to do. But people, I'm speaking for myself, is from now on, I think that spread love. If you have love, spread love. Spreading negativity, bullying people, trolling them under the page, writing nasty things about them, and you really think that it's going to hurt them, it's not going to hurt them. It's just showing who you are as a people. And together, we are going to make sure that we invite and encourage other persons to know that if they have the potential of being a leader, everybody cannot be in the lead. But there's some people just better at the front, and there's some to the back just pushing that person to be in the lead. Even how I'm here tonight, there are many persons who say, Lavi, you can do it. And they give me encouraging words to know that I can come here and present the show. So I just want to let everybody know it is 8:58. Miss Carey, I just got to tell you, thank you so much for being here. And I feel that what you present here tonight, many people are listening, and I can see the positiveness that is coming out of this. And I think that this is going to be something good for the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Dr. Terence Jew. I think this is a winner. And the only how we can make this be a winner, not just for him, but for our people, is to have everybody come on board to help solve crime and violence in our beautiful federation. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
All right, folks, it is 8:58, like I said, and I've got to let you guys know, if you're just in tune, this is a Real Talk with Lavi. The program has come to an end. This is not a program. We do not do debate and the controversy here. I feel that it is time we bring information. So if you have something positive to bring whatever issue, let's solve it. Bring the information that can help somebody else. So thank you once again for being here tonight. Next week, same place, same time, Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Thank you so much. I am Laverne Davis.
The views and opinions expressed in this program were solely those of the participant or caller and do not reflect the views of WinFM 98.9. WinFM reserves the right to disconnect any caller who infringes the law or offends the right of any person. The station will also refuse to take any call from any person who, in WinFM's considered opinion, is likely to expose the station to liability for statements made on the air.